So, good evening, everyone. Back to back three positive sessions from Nifty, and currently we are up 200 points today. Nifty at 23,777. So, to decode more about market today, we have Mr. Arjit Garg, a SEBI-registered research analyst. Arjit, I welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Pradhaman. And I believe the viewers, they're having an awesome day. If they're following our session so far, they might have like this today's session. I believe is the best session in the last few couple of sessions that we're seeing.
Of course, of course. So, Arjit, let's start decoding the market today. What happened in the Nifty, and what are the major levels that we need to look for the further sessions going forward?
Sure. So first, let's start with a view, a walk around of markets. What really happened today? So Nifty closed with a gains of 0.8% or 200 points, as you said, at 23,777. Sensex also closed with a gain of 0.8%, around 700 points at 76,704. Now, coming to the charts, if you see, we already knew Nifty is coming around these levels. We already marked these levels. Last session, we talked about these levels as well. Okay, I think we can either see an up move or up till 23,850, or we'll see a down move, we'll retest 23,500. Guess what happened? We touched an intraday high of 23,860, exact precise level of 23,860. Now, what can happen from here? सी जो हुआ क्यों हुआ उसके बारे में डिस्कस करके there's no point. जो भी हो गया अब तो हो गया. Now we have to look forward. What is coming for us in the coming future? Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we still have two trading sessions. So what is coming next for us? That is important. Now, point number one, from 15th of March, usually when you see the markets, you see stocks, you see the movement in the stocks and the overall market, people, like, since it's end of the year, so people usually they book their profits. They look out for such trades where they can start their tax harvesting or loss harvesting period. It starts from 15th of March every year. So tax harvesting is something which can be a factor for us in the upcoming sessions. That is point number one. Point number two, looking at the option interest and the option chain that we are seeing, open interest and option chain here, we can see the highest put OI is at 23,500. And going forward at all the lower strike prices, we are seeing that put OI is more than call OI. This clearly indicates that there is long build-up coming in these in the below strike prices. So currently we are at 23,750 because spot is 23,777. So the nearest closest spot price is 23,750. अब यहाँ से नीचे में whichever level you see, at all levels we have highest put writing. Put writing, long build up matlab people are wanting the markets to go up. Long build up and short build up, I believe users are now a bit familiar with it. We already covered short covering in
Yes,
one of our previous
yes.
sessions, right? On the higher strike prices, if you see, there is a high call OI. Call OI, again, just like we have long build up for high put and put OI, we have short build up for higher call interest, call open interest. See, so if the prices go up, call sellers are there, they want the market to come down, so market would come down. At lower levels, we have people who want the markets to go up, so again the markets would go up. So we are stuck in a range. So if you see the highest call OI, highest put OI in the upcoming ranges, we come down to 24,000 on the higher end, and we have 23,500 on the lower end. The exact levels that we've already marked on our charts. 24,000 on the higher end we have already marked, 23,500 already marked on the lower level. Right? So the open interest part was point number two. Now, what usually people would think at current level is they would see, okay, I think there are two red candles. Nifty has already given a nice move. I think we should buy right now. That's what usually people would think. Even if I was new to the markets, I would also think the same way. कि, okay, market has given a lot of rally. Itna gira, now the market has risen a lot. I think we should buy now. I'll give you 3 points why you should not buy now aggressively. Trading के perspective से, if you're seeing to trade the markets, that is fine. But if you want to invest in the market and you're like, okay, the risk is all over and now let's get into the market, let me tell you 3 points why the risk is still there. First, overnight risk in the market is obviously there. You have two countries fighting the war. You have Iran, Israel, US. All the countries are already in a war. anything can happen in these countries. Lately, the news that the Prime Minister of Israel, there are a lot of speculations around his death and if he's alive or not. There are a lot of speculations around it. Such news might come out when our session is already over. So it becomes an overnight fear, overnight risk for us. Another key trigger that can happen around the war is sudden ceasefire. A lot of political analysts and war analysts are already into it, that where might this war lead to, what might happen next. So we are already discussing that. Experts are already there who are discussing all of that. I'm not a political expert, I'm not a war expert, but from charts perspective I can tell you that overnight risk is still there. Ceasefire can happen anytime. It won't take a lot of time for Mr. Donald Trump to announce a ceasefire. Oh my God, we are announcing a ceasefire. He would just announce it. At the next trading sessions, our markets, our positions would suffer. So having overnight trades right now is still risky, right? So that was risk number one. Risk number two, you see, crude oil is still above its normal prices, nominal price. I'll just load up crude oil futures here. If you see, crude oil is still in the tight range that we have marked in the last session, around 9,000 rupees a barrel, which is approximately around 100 US dollars, 102 US dollars Brent. So this gives us another key volatility reason. This is all. This will also act as a volatility and add up to our overnight risk. Crude oil, if it increases, everybody knows increasing crude oil is negative for the market. So सबसे पहले overnight risk is around the war which is happening. Second overnight risk is crude is still above its normal prices. So high crude still indicates that there can be pressure from any point in the market, right? So this is risk number two. Risk number three, if you check out the FII data, like I cannot present the chart for it, but daily in the news we are seeing FIIs are selling 9,000 crores, 2,000 crores, 11,000 crores. So constant selling from FII is already there, which from the day one of Indian market, FII selling and buying, this really affects the prices of our stocks, the prices of our market. It doesn't matter if our domestic institutions, our mutual fund houses, insurance companies, they're constantly pumping in thousands of crores in the market. That is good, but it is not enough to drive the sentiments. So FIs are constantly selling. If we see the positions of FIs, they already have around 10-20% of open positions in the market right now. They've been selling from past 6-7 months already. Like last year they started selling when we touched all-time high of 26,300, and from that day till today they're constantly selling. Not even a single day when FIs have started buying. So risk number one was war. Risk number two is crude oil. Risk number three is constant selling by FII. And the fourth risk, which in front of all of these risks, it's the most minimal risk. People who have entered the position at higher levels. See, assume somebody has entered the position at around this level. The first gap that we got in the markets on 2nd of March, maybe somebody might have thought, "Okay, okay, we have got the first gap. Let's add up some positions. This is not a serious war." There were a lot of people who added position at that time. These people are still trapped in the market. So somebody who bought position over here hoping for a gap up, that guy never got a gap up. He got a gap down for 5 consecutive sessions. So such people are still trapped in the market. And mind it, their positions, if they're not exiting it, their positions would be active in the market until the monthly expiry comes in, which is next week. Next week, I'm so sorry, on 31st March we have got the monthly expiry. So
31st March. Yeah.
until then all of these positions are already trapped. So जैसे ही market ऊपर जाएगा, these people will want an exit. You see, you have heard it that अरे और कुछ नहीं, और लॉस बुक करने से अच्छा है कॉस्ट टू कॉस्ट निकल जाओ, जहां पे बाय किया था वहीं पे एग्जिट ले लो. These levels also act as a resistance. So here are these are the four most talked about, or the highest overnight risks that we have in the markets.
No, four highly valuable points that you mentioned, Arjit. Thank you for that. Now, can we look at the sectors that mainly, contributed for today's raise in the market?
Sure. So the key sectors that really contributed in today's market, first of all, it was the media sector. Media sector, as in stocks like persistent systems, we have multiple media sector stocks. See, why media has been outperforming since day one. You see a lot of, if you just click on it, we've got These are the top stocks that are performing in the overall market, broader market. So these are one of the most volatile stocks. I'll tell you one thing. There's something called as beta in the market. Whenever you see stocks, whenever you see any index, whenever you see any asset class, just look at what is the beta ratio of that particular asset class, be it option, be it any stocks. Even if you invest in mutual funds, you can check the beta of your fund. Now, what exactly is beta? Beta tells you that by benchmark index के comparison में how is your investment going to perform. Suppose, for example, if we have DB Corp. Now, right now, I don't know what is the beta of DB Corp. If I research about it, if I analyze about it, that's when I'll understand what is the beta of DB Corp. If I deep dive into it, suppose if I find the beta is 1.2, on an average, if you have a beta between 0 to 1, that is the ideal range. 0 indicates lowest beta, means lowest volatility. Even if the markets are down 2 3%, if your beta is close to 0, your stock would not fall that much. On the contrary, if you have higher beta, if say your beta is 1.2 as I mentioned, 1.2 beta matlab, if market is falling 2%, your stock will fall more than 2%. So higher beta indicates higher volatility. So what we usually recommend is choosing stocks which have the lowest volatility, because lowest beta, lowest volatility, your stock remains, your investment, your stocks, your portfolio remains hedged, and it is at the lowest risk possible. Right? So beta is something which we have to look out for. Coming again to the sectors, if we just load up the sectoral charts once again, like this. Yeah. So we can see the top performing sectors were IT, we had media, we had consumer durables, realty, chemicals. All of these sectors are top performing. We can also see auto was up 1.9%, which reminds me our top pick, which was Mahindra and Mahindra, the levels that we had marked in our previous sessions. First target is hit 3175. We talked about it in the last session as well. People who are holding it, they can add more or they can just stay put in that particular stock. And our first target is hit. Coming up next is our second target of 3297, which again, if the market rally continues, we'll see that target hit in the upcoming sessions as well. So yeah, these are the top performing sectors that we have: auto, media, consumer durables, IT, realty. All of these are the sectors which were already like they were beaten down during all of these gap downs, and now it's time for these sectors to come back and start performing once again.
Got it, got it. Ajit, when you were mentioning about the beta, is there a possibility or a chance where beta can be negative, so that it has the negative correlation to the market? So if the market goes up, the stock comes down, and the stock or the market comes down, the stock goes up. For example, let's say in terms of FMCG sector, generally that tends to happen, right?
Yes, yes, beta can be negative. See, there's a very long mathematical calculation. I don't want to deep dive into maths because I'm very bad at mathematics, but there's a very long calculation for calculating beta. So, beta can be negative. For a negative beta, as you mentioned correctly, your stock would move against the market. So, if the market is going down, there's high probability that your stock would still give you positive returns. But finding these negative beta stocks is very rare. As you mentioned, FMCG sector is one sector which have a couple of negative beta stocks. There are a couple of stocks in IT sector as well which have negative beta. Now, these are usually negative beta stocks are small cap and micro cap companies. Micro cap companies are very, very SME level ke, very small companies. Barely they have 1000 crore market cap. These companies usually have, some of them have negative beta, because these companies are so small that the benchmark index movement won't really affect their stock price because they're not part of any benchmark index. So see, such negative beta companies are very rare to find, but if you find them, you have like gold, pure gold in your portfolio in that case.
Of course, of course. Since you mentioned SMEs, I remembered, like, are there any good IPOs coming? Are there any good IPOs that people should watch out for?
There are a couple of good IPOs. I am not really tracking any such IPOs right now, but yeah, I do read news. So there are a couple of companies. Maybe we can start preparing a list for IPOs, and we can start with that in the upcoming sessions. If the
Sure, sure,
users
sure.
want it, like any user, any viewer who wants it, please do mention about it in the comment below. So we'll know that if you really want us to discuss IPOs in the upcoming sessions.
Of course, of course. Let's do that in a weekly basis or something.
Absolutely. Okay, one more sector that I want to really talk about today is Bank Nifty. Like I wanted to talk about Bank Nifty in starting, but I wanted to focus on Nifty more. So we can see Bank Nifty a very beautiful rally, and I think from here, if you look at other stocks as well, if I just load State Bank of India, you see State Bank of India, it used to trade around 1200, down almost 20% to 1000 rupees. You see HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank is also one of the large cap banks which everybody tracks. And there was a time when HDFC Bank was a major contributor to Bank Nifty's movement. Now, though, everything is now SEBI has said that Bank Nifty will have to have equal allocation for all of the stocks. But earlier, before the rule came out, HDFC Bank was like a major heavyweight in Bank Nifty. So movement in HDFC Bank used to move Bank Nifty as a whole. So HDFC Bank, you can see beaten down from its all-time highs. It used to trade around 1020. Oh my God, what were those days? And now it's down to 840. So I believe HDFC Bank and SBI are two stocks that people can watch out for, because these are some of the large cap companies that most of people track. And earlier, these stocks used to move Bank Nifty. So Bank Nifty already, again, similar chart as you can see from HDFC Bank. Here's the chart of HDFC Bank on an hourly basis, and this is 1 hour chart of Bank Nifty. You can see similarities in the movement that we're seeing in both of these scripts. So I think from here, Bank Nifty is ready for a fresh rally. It's already near its resistance level 55,400, 55,300. If this level is broken, I'll mark this level 55,424, or maybe let's take today's high 55,553. If this level is breached in the upcoming sessions, if we see movement above these levels and Bank Nifty really sustains it on an early time frame, I think we can see a fresh rally till 57,000 or 57,100. So I think Bank Nifty is something that we have to add on our charts, add in our watch list, and we have to watch Bank Nifty, HDFC Bank, and SBI for any future movements.
Got it. Perfect. Perfect. Ajit, you also mentioned right now in Bank Nifty, the contribution is divided, the weightage is divided amongst all the stocks, all the banks.
Right.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Correct.
is it the same way in Nifty as well, or like there is a still the same weighted system that was there previously?
No, so weighted system earlier, see, Nifty 50 has top 50 stocks from the National Stock Exchange. NSE में जो भी top
Correct.
50 well performing stocks होंगे, that stock the list keeps changing almost every quarter. Same thing earlier, like Bank Nifty used to follow the same thing, but the weightage was unequal. Nifty has equal weightage for all of the stocks. Bank Nifty has a little inequality in it in form of its weightage. So this was equalized, and these are the stocks that we have in Bank Nifty right now. All of them have equal weightages, and this is the movement that we saw in Bank Nifty stocks today.
Got it. Got it. So I think we have covered everything almost. Like, do you have any other points to add for today's session?
Just the key risks that I mentioned, I would just urge the viewers to just pay attention to that, the overnight risks that we have. Middle East war, we have traders who already they're stuck in higher positions. Apart from that, we already have the crude oil which is surging. It's around $100 Brent crude. M6 crude is around 9,000 rupees. So just pay attention to these levels. If you're carrying any overnight positions, please make sure to hedge your position. See, the problem that Indian retailers, especially people who trade in options, 90% of them, they do not, either they do not hedge their positions or they do not know how to hedge their positions. So hedging is usually, it's meant for you to not make a loss and not make a profit either. हेजिंग का मतलब ये नहीं है कि अगर मार्केट ऊपर है तो एक लॉन्ग पोजीशन के साथ आई टेक अ शॉर्ट पोजीशन, तो नीचे जाएगा तो प्रॉफिट, ऊपर जाएगा तो प्रॉफिट. नो, दैट्स नॉट हेजिंग. Hedging matlab, whenever you take a position, suppose if you are taking a long position, you are buying a call or maybe you are going long on futures and Nifty right now, that is your naked position right now. In case the position goes the other way and it starts giving you loss and it hits a stop loss, you will have to bear that loss. हेज का फायदा होता है, हेज करने का मतलब है ये जो आपको लॉस हो रहा है, योर पोजीशन इज गोइंग इन द रॉन्ग डायरेक्शन, यू आर मेकिंग अ लॉस, a way to protect that loss is called hedging. Now, hedging can be done in multiple ways. Either you buy a certain stock or you just do a contra trade in the index. There's several ways to hedge it. So if you're carrying any overnight positions, please hedge your positions. Do not go around with open naked positions overnight, because overnight risk in current market, it's very high. So just mind these 3 4 points, and I think you'll have a very profitable journey in the upcoming weeks in the Indian market.
Perfect. In fact, that actually included the main mistakes general retailers should make and one lesson for the retail investors as well, traders as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much, Arjit, for today's session. It was very detailed, and the four important main points that you mentioned, it will definitely benefit all of the investors and traders. Thank you for today's session.
Thank you for having me. I really hope the investors and traders really have a profitable week ahead.
Thank you.